Well, the overview is that, it has been a disaster. There's no other way you can describe it. You can't sugarcoat the performance to say we were unlucky, we're rebuilding, we've had 6 months or so of one-day cricket. They've had ample time to repair. The selectors and the management team have decided on a profile and a course for the team. They've selected a team like that, and the team has not been good enough. I don't think there's any point in complaining about the personnel. Were they the right personnel, the wrong personnel? They are some of the best personnel we have available. To be defeated by Australia and New Zealand, even Sri Lanka, is no disgrace. But to only win one game against a so-called minnow Scotland and get beaten by Bangladesh as well, therefore be eliminated from the group stage, is not really acceptable. I think that it's not just one thing. I think you've got to identify the right players, you've got to work on a system, and you've got to stick by that system and those players and back them. Some examples are if you had Alex Hales in the squad for this World Cup, you promoted him from T20 cricket where he's been very, very successful. You had to put him in the team maybe back when they played Sri Lanka and stuck with him through the tri-series before the World Cup and give him his head and let him settle in to his position, because you're trying to play a particular style of cricket and he's a particular style of batsman who gives you a fast start and is exciting, and he takes chances, takes risk, but that's why you're playing him. So you've got to understand that not every game is going to be successful, but it is a sort of a message you're putting out there of what style and what your team is about. So there's one little example. To change the team before the match against Australia at the 11th hour and put Gary Ballance into the side smacked of indecision, if you ask me. I think England's side has not been settled. In the games in Sri Lanka and in the tri-series, they seem to hit on the formula of playing 4 fast bowlers, Moeen Ali providing the spin. They left out Ravi Bopara towards the end of that and decided that's the route they was going to go, with 4 main fast bowlers, not have Bopara batting at 6 or 7 with his little medium pace to share some of the overs. That's the route they went down, and they brought Ballance in, but I didn't agree with that. Gary Ballance has been a good player for England in the year or so he's been playing. He bats 5 for Yorkshire in one-day cricket. He's quite a good player in that position. Never really entered international cricket as number 3. If you're looking at a bowling attack, going to bowl maybe at Alex Hales or Gary Ballance, they're not going to mind bowling at Gary Ballance, because the feeling will be he's not going to hurt you. Not that he's not a decent player, but he's unaccustomed to playing in that position. And you've got to be a bit bolder. You've got to be a bit more enterprising, I think, as we've seen some of the other teams in this World Cup. It's no good complaining about the personnel. As I say, they're the personnel we have. There is a few people in the wings, but not many who could possibly come into that team. Jason Roy at Surrey is one that you could have looked at in the batting. It's our style of play and the way the team has been coaxed and the sort of format that they're going to play. You have to hit on a style, and some of the other sides, have been really attacking. If you look at New Zealand, they really play their cricket in the image of their captain, Brendan McCullum. Plainly, we're not very good at playing this form of cricket. I mean, there's no other way to say it. We have been, humiliated in this World Cup. And down the last decade and a half or more, we've had similar, outcomes at World Cups. I don't want to say we were the best team since, I was captain in '92, it was the last time we reached the final, but our performances have not been up to standard. We've not gone deep into the competitions. We reached the Champions Trophy final a couple of years ago and performed creditably there. We won the T20 World Cup in 2010, so there has been glimpses of better days. But it's not one thing that's wrong. You know, our players didn't play with the boldness or the panache you need in one-day cricket. You know, and you've got to back yourself and you've got to go out there and press the game. I think our one-day domestic competitions could be improved. If you look at our T20 and our 50-over competition, certainly the T20 has got a long way to go over here before it reaches the level, the profile, the production, the product of a Big Bash or an IPL by attracting the best players. So we have to look at how we can attract better players into the our one-day competitions to raise the standard, whether we could shorten the formats of the game in terms of when they're played, condense them in a season so you can have the better players playing. I don't know, we've got to raise the standard below international level so when people step up they're more adept at performing. Well, you're highlighting there how you play the game. You know, if you can't set a good total in 50 overs, you know, which is the norm now, is 300 plus, you know, you've got to be able to kick on and you've got to defend that. And the way you defend those sort of totals is you have to get wickets nowadays. Our bowlers, quality bowlers that Stuart Broad and James Anderson are with the red ball in Test cricket, you know, fantastic records. I didn't see us move the ball sideways. I didn't see us cause any problems with the new ball during the matches we played. You have to be able to get wickets. You have to have some tricks. You have to have bowl at great pace. You have to have good variation. You have to be able to bowl Yorker when you need it, especially towards the end of the innings, and you have to read the batsman. That's the way you control the scoring rate now in T20 and in 50-over cricket, the modern game. That's the way you control it. You don't control it by bowling line and length, and you certainly don't control it by trying to pressurise the batsman into mistakes. The batsmen are much less fearful now. Generally, they have a sort of persona of attack, and they take risks, and those risks sometimes come off, and hence you see the scores we're seeing in this World Cup. 2 new white balls helps the batting side because they stay harder longer, and if you're not getting any sideways movement, they go further off the bat. So the reason we struggled is our bowling was too predictable. We kept bowling length. We didn't have a lot of variation. We didn't get much swing, so we could not break partnerships. So therefore, we were chasing some big totals, and we couldn't prevent sides, you know, chasing. You know, like, well, New Zealand, we didn't get that many, but still, you've got to be able to get wickets. And we don't look like we're going to get wickets. And when the competition started, you're wondering, well, who is going to be that wicket taker in the middle of the innings? Who is going to produce something slightly different? Who is going to have the variation? You know, it's disappointing, but unless you can do that, you're not going to win too many one-day internationals.